for the faith you have in me. You can all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I will strive to be worthy of it with my message. Christ is in our midst. And blessed feast of our beautiful Theotokos. My favorite Khalil Gibran quote is as follows. I slept and I dreamed that life is all joy. I woke and I saw that life is all service. I served and I saw that service is joy. I've been blessed for more years than I anticipated to serve as president not only of our Antiochian Women's Ministry here at St. Michael, but also for our Diocese of Los Angeles in the West. And without a doubt, I can say that this has been a blessing filled with much joy. Joy in the relationships that have grown out of it. Joy that will enrich my life for the rest of my days. Joy in the purpose that this work has given to me and my life. Joy in the countless blessings that have stemmed from this service. Our Antiochian Women Ministry was founded in 1973 by Metropolitan Philip of thrice blessed memory. Throughout the years, we've all heard more times than we can count, the women are the backbone of the church. I'm certainly not disagreeing. Saint Teresa Benedicta of the Cross said, the world doesn't need what women have, it needs what women are. A vital women's ministry is far more than a social opportunity. And although an important component, it's not just planning events and charitable service. A thriving women's ministry is women connecting with women and helping each other to grow their personal spiritual lives. As women, we know the value of forming deep, rich, and lasting connections that are meaningful and challenging, rather than the quick and superficial how-do-you-dos of Sunday mornings. A woman's ministry gives the opportunity to form these deep connections. Within the confines of a women's ministry, as relationships grow, it is a place to both ask for prayer and an opportunity to learn from each other how to grow your own prayer life. Through the years, our ministry has grown into the motto of a sisterhood serving Christ through serving others. In those early days, it was about getting established and organized to do more than just cook. Not eliminate cooking, but instead use that talent to help build our parishes and to expand them and to grow. But time spent in the kitchen is far more than just cooking. It's a great opportunity for fellowship, getting to know ladies you maybe only say a passing hello to, and a chance to learn from each other. But back to that motto. Through the years, the Antiochian women have taken on countless avenues to serve others. Initially, this was through the Metropolitans Project, currently earthquake and disaster relief in Syria and Turkey. And historically, a long list of wonderful projects like Orthodox orphanages, clergy retirement, tornado relief at the Antiochian village, children of the Syrian civil war, monasteries, and the list goes on and on. Charitable acts of mercy were more standard things like children's relief, back in the day called Project Loving Care. Remember that? Today, across our diocese and archdiocese, our women support an endless list of charitable acts of mercy, supporting their local communities and varied Orthodox ministries that serve all over our globe. Antiochian women are involved in their local communities, often with a variety of homeless ministries, such as St. Athanasius in Santa Barbara, where they host a shower truck on their property and then provide a hot meal and distribute clothing received from donations. Or St. John Cathedral in Eagle River, Alaska, who supports an Orthodox community in Africa, who built an Orthodox school for children who otherwise wouldn't have a school at all. Several parishes adopt the boys at St. Innocent Orphanage in Rosarito, Mexico, at the beginning of the school year, and then again before Christmas. The heartfelt list of charitable acts of mercy is endless. Additionally, our Antiochian Women Ministry serves each other. There is an Antiochian Women's Scholarship Grant for women 26 and over who are pursuing their education to help support their family, often after a life-changing event. Examples of recent recipients from here in our diocese include single mothers and immigrants. Two recent recipients were from Eritrea and Russia. The woman from Russia is studying to become a counselor to work with victims of human trafficking because of her own firsthand knowledge of her fellow young Russian women falling victim to this reprehensible crime. From my perspective, it's vital as women that we support each other, especially those in need and or those striving to improve their life circumstances. One of the biggest challenges we see in our parishes today, one of the biggest changes we see in our parishes today is the focus of today's young mothers on Orthodox parenting. Moms groups have become a popular item and very common in our parishes. They strive to make our faith very real and relatable to the children on a daily basis. An example being that they celebrate the St. Lucia Festival in December by making flower wreaths for the girls to wear, and they process around while they serve special St. Lucia pastries that they prepared together. I was a perfect attendance Sunday school kid. I went to the Antiochian village, and then I was a counselor. I never had a wreath for St. Lucia Day. I don't even think I knew who she was until in my adulthood. We are all familiar with the story of the sisters Martha and Mary. Now, as they went on their way, Jesus entered a village, and a woman named Martha received him into her house. And she had a sister called Mary, who sat at the Lord's feet and listened to his teaching. But Martha was distracted with much serving, and she went to him and said, "Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to serve alone? Tell her then to help me." But the Lord answered her, "Martha, Martha, you are anxious and troubled about many things. One thing is needful. Mary has chosen the good portion, which shall not be taken away from her." Gospel of Luke 10:38-42. It seems to me that we often seem to choose. Am I more of a Martha, or am I more of a Mary? But the story is of Martha and Mary, not Martha or Mary. And we should all strive to learn from each other how to better emulate to be both a better Martha and a better Mary. This is something my participation with our women's ministry has helped me to see and understand more clearly. For me, who was raised by a very definite Martha, a huge chunk of my childhood was spent with my cousins setting tables in the church hall and playing while our moms cooked for some event. It is my Martha side that comes far more naturally to me. But it has been being active in this ministry that has provided me the opportunity and the true blessing to grow my Mary side. Let's take a look at the influences of Martha and Mary in our Antiochian women ministry. We'll start with Martha. I absolutely love seeing the parishes of our diocese learn from each other and expand their ministries and outreach. Suites for Seminarians, a means of raising support for our diocese seminarians, was started by St. Timothy in Fairfield and then copied by St. Athanasius in Sacramento. Years ago, St. Matthew in Torrance had a community baby shower involving the neighbors and the local businesses to aid women in crisis pregnancies. It was copied by St. Timothy in Fairfield. Our own Lenten lunch here at St. Michael last week to benefit earthquake relief was an idea I copied from the ladies at St. Luke. And we are sitting here at this Annunciation Tea over 25 years ago, I was invited to one at St. Andrew in Riverside, and I knew immediately that we had to also share in this activity, which provides the opportunity to worship, have fellowship, and learn together over these many years from our various guest speakers. What about the Mary influences? Several of you in this room are currently participating, or have in prior years, in a Psalter group. For those not familiar, this is where we commit to daily reading a section of the book of Psalms each day during Great Lent, so that every day, all 20 of us are reading the entire Psalter, or the book of Psalms. I'd never heard of this until I saw it posted on the Facebook page of one of our Antiochian women's chapters. I've organized one for the last 3 or 4 years, but if I'm honest, organizing a Psalter group is really not about these 19 other lovely ladies. It's about keeping myself committed and accountable to grow my personal spiritual journey, aka my Mary side. Each year, the Antiochian Women North American Board chooses a book that it encourages women in parishes across our archdiocese to read together in book clubs. I've learned about Mother Alexandra, the former Romanian princess, who became an Orthodox nun and founded Holy Transfiguration Monastery in Pennsylvania, where as a Sunday school kid in Ohio, we used to take field trips to on buses. I was introduced to the wisdom and guidance of Elder Thaddeus with his book, Our Thoughts Determine Our Lives, which I've heard wisely described as cognitive therapy for Orthodox Christians. And I've learned so much more about our Blessed Theotokos in two very different books. One, a more biographical account, and another very personal reflection by a woman who converted to Orthodoxy and shared how her own personal relationship with Mary has grown. Both books causing me to examine my own relationship with Mary. In this diocese, during the pandemic, we began to host an online program called Sewing Bee, The Sewing Bee, with speakers from all different walks of Orthodoxy. They have both educated and inspired me. We just don't know what we don't know. And guess what? There's a lot to know. So the next time you hear about our women's ministry offering a book club or a chance to hear a speaker, it's my hope that you'll consider joining in, and as a bonus, grow your Mary side too. But just to help give us all a little nudge, for our Mary side, each of your table hostesses have copies of a beautiful article written by His Grace Bishop Basil entitled Mary, Cause of Our Rejoicing. It's a beautiful and powerful article, and of course timely since today is her Feast of the Annunciation. For our Martha side, I'm excited to announce a very much needed charitable act of mercy for our local pantry, Loaves and Fishes, that we support at different times throughout the year. Incidentally, I'm copying this from the parish of All Saints in Raleigh, North Carolina. In May, we will have Undie Sunday to collect new packaged underwear for both children and adults who benefit from the services of Loaves and Fishes. Then down the road, in October, we're going to have Socktober, collecting socks for the clients of Loaves and Fishes. Life is funny. And as a result, although I had anticipated 4 years and am now completing 8 years, and my final year as Diocese Antiochian Women's President, during that time I've had the blessing to visit 24 parishes in person and a few more virtually. Without a doubt, I can tell you, no two parishes are alike, regardless of their composition. No two of the more ethnic parishes are alike, no two primarily convert parishes are alike, and no two combo plate special parishes are alike. Each has its own flair and character, but what is alike is that all have been warm and welcoming, and joining in worship at each of these parishes has been as easy as putting on an old comfortable pair of slippers. As Father Timothy frequently reminds us, we are not a monolithic group. And I can tell you, as a girl raised in an ethnic parish in Cleveland, Ohio, I never could have predicted having a Hawaiian priest who sings Feast Day Troparians in Arabic. As I visit these diverse parishes, I often look around and wonder, what would my Sittu and Jiddu, my grandparents, what would they think? They, who as immigrants from Lebanon, worked to build a church during the Great Depression with their fellow Lebanese immigrants. How amazed would they be with how diverse our Antiochian Archdiocese of North America is today? Glory to God. But still, acknowledging that there is a great diversity in our demographics, does that bring challenges? Some might say definitely, but I say perhaps. Perhaps it brings challenges, but only if we are not open to being good Marthas and welcoming and hospitable. Also, we have to be open to something else, and this is very important. We have to be open to accepting that my way is just that, my way. But not by a long shot is it the only way. You want others to be involved? You need to let them try things as they see best. And guess what? Sometimes, oftentimes, we learn a better, more feasible way of doing something. We also need to invite people, ask them to help directly. My mom's generation didn't think you should have to be asked. Well, some people don't. They'll just jump right in. But others aren't comfortable with that. And you have to meet people where they are comfortable at. Let's remember what the psalmist told us. Serve the Lord with gladness. Come before his presence with singing, Psalm 100. If we don't welcome people and their ideas that differ from ours oftentimes, how can we expect them to become involved? You want the younger women in parish families to take on more active roles? Then you have to provide an environment of acceptance, not judgment or criticism, an environment of encouragement, and acknowledge their contributions and perspectives. Okay, you may think, well, nobody did that for me. But wouldn't it have been meaningful if they had? How much would that have meant to you? After all, we are all servants of our Lord Jesus Christ. As Maya Angelou reminded us, I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Like everything else, today's Antiochian Women's Ministry has had to at least try to keep up with our continually changing and technologically progressing world. I remember when I was a teenager and my mom was president of the Antiochian Women of the Midwest, helping her with folding, stuffing, and stamping mailings to be sent throughout the diocese. Well, that doesn't happen anymore. Even when I first got involved, we had regular monthly Zoom meetings here at St. Michael. We don't do that anymore either. We just have as-needed Zoom meetings. We use email, texting, and social media to reach out. There are, of course, positives and negatives to all of it. All of our ladies don't use all of these platforms, yet others use it with great ease. It's also very true that these methods are time management friendly and you can often reach more people. It's important to be cognitive of your audience. And as I said earlier, meet them where they are at. For those in leadership roles, that usually means using a variety of communication means to disperse the same message. As I mentioned earlier, and most of you already know, I've been president of our Antiochian Women in our diocese for longer than I planned. But this is the Antiochian Women's Ministry. This is not the Charmaine's Women Ministry. Each of us have unique gifts and talents to offer. I will never be a treasurer of anything. In both our parish and our diocese, I have done things my way, and I've seen some of them succeed. And I've seen plenty of things that I've wanted to do crash and burn. However, because we are all blessed with unique gifts, it's critical that you realize you don't need to do things only my way. I promise you, I do many things differently than my predecessors did. But trying new things is the way we see growth and development. This ministry is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year. It has flourished and grown due to the assorted gifts and talents shared by the women of those early years, and then the ones who picked up the baton from them. This is their legacy. Women like our dear Isabel Elack, who was the first of the duly elected North American board presidents. Before her election, the diocese presidents rotated through a term wearing two hats, representing both their diocese and also serving as North American board. We are forever in their debt, and with that in mind, I ask that you please stand and join me with respect and thanks and love in Christ to sing God Grant You Many Years to Isabel. Father.
Grant, O Lord, a peaceful life with good health, salvation and the furtherance of good things to thy servant Isabel, and preserve her for many years. God grant you many years. God grant you many years. God grant you many, many years.
And all of you. Oh, God bless you.
We love you, Isabel. When I began today, I shared this much-loved quote from Khalil Gibran. I slept and I dreamed that life is all joy. I woke and I saw that life is all service. I served and I saw that service is joy. It is my hope that others who are involved feel this same joy, and that those of you not as involved might prayerfully consider a stronger role for service so that you too can experience this joy. Thank you.